So we brought Kareem in to talk about a little bit about life after high school and just the ups and downs of, the sales world, school, and everything in between. So if you want to start off with what it was like, those first few months, first few experiences out of high school and what pushed you to where you are now?
Yeah, 100%. So I went to a different high school in the district from a lot of other people. It's a high school you got to apply to.
Right.
It's rated the 25th best high school or high rating in the nation. So it's a very, very good high school. It's kind of separated myself from a lot of people that I was friends with at the middle school.
Yeah.
There's 3 high schools in the district, and then it's split up kind of in half, and then people from those middle schools can apply to that high school. So it kind of brought me into a new group of people really quickly.
Okay.
And throughout my whole kind of life experiences, I've always been social. Like I'd like to interact with these new experiences. I don't really get nervous meeting new people, which I'm glad to have that trait. And then the same thing with college, right? I get dragged out of high school, the group of people that I was with, and I get through, and everyone separates themselves again, right? Going to different colleges.
Yeah.
And then I went into a different college than a lot of other people. It's a big college. I go to Temple University.
Okay.
And then made a new group of friends.
And so just to clear the air, we all did, in fact, go to the same middle school and high school.
Yes.
Or actually, no, sorry, middle school.
Yes.
Then we split ways at the high school level.
Yes.
But we all did graduate in 2020. So
Yes.
can you give us a little bit about how your time was transitioning from normal high school to that little block period of time during the pandemic and how that that really shaped your viewpoints? And
it was really interesting, actually. It was, I think we all have that experience of, we were all seniors in high school, all 3 of us, and we were like, okay, this is going to be a week off.
2 weeks.
A week
2
off,
weeks.
2 weeks off. We were like, all right, let's go. We can play some Call of Duty or something.
Yeah.
And then we just never came back.
Right.
And for the next year and a half, we never attended a public place without being in a different environment, whether it be a mask or show your vaccine card at a bar or whatever.
Whatever it may be, yeah. And a big thing here, too, is so I went the full 4 years at the normal high school, all 4 years. Steve here did, 2 full regular years and then 2 full years at the tech school?
I did 1 full regular year and then 3 years at tech school.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
And then so you did 4 full years at the STEM Academy?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And, I mean, it really goes to show, we're all here now, but we're all working in different paths of life, and it's really amazing to see how, even though we didn't all attend the same place, we're still all motivated to, with our peers being, kind of stuck on that, stay in school, go to college, get a corporate job, and, just work the 9 to 5. It's really interesting to see Steve here. He has the ambitions of growing his real estate brokerage and, even developing a portfolio one day. I'm here with, I have 1 rental property, and we're trying to expand our business. And then, just speak a little bit about what you have going on and your main sources of income and what you're thinking of going into.
Sure, that's an interesting question. So I'm actually, it's funny enough, I think, in my opinion, with the level that I'm at, I am going kind of to the traditional path, but I have a little leeway where once I get enough capital from a 9 to 5, then I will start opening up, I have a 2023 goal, get 1 rental property.
Okay.
By the end of this year, I have to have 1 rental property by my name.
Steve here is going to be able to help you
exactly
a lot with that.
Exactly. And we've had talks before, too, you know. So I just got a full-time job at a very big pharmaceutical company as a sales operation analyst in King of Prussia. So that money from there, and I do go to college and I pay that tuition, I have that tuition bill and everything and rent in Philadelphia. So after I secure those expenses and build up capital from my 9 to 5, in whatever it be, 1, 2, 3 years, of working a 9 to 5 after I build that capital, then I can start, again, one property by
Venturing
2023, and then another property 2024, and then whatever it be down the line. Steve also knows that I'm big into the stock market, so equities trading, derivatives trading, options trading.
Now, when did you get into that?
I got into that exactly right away when I turned 18.
Nice.
I told myself very young that I wanted to be financially free in the future, and I think that's a cliche thing to do. But a lot of people don't know how to execute on it.
Well, with the rise of TikTok and social media and, just gurus and personalities on the internet, that whole block of financial education and, like, financial, trading, whether that be equity or, what are they called? Where you can really leverage other people's money in the trade.
Like options trading and stuff like that. Yeah.
TikTok and Instagram Reels, Facebook, it's really been pushing a lot of the youth to go into that group. So I mean, it's really impressive that not everybody makes a lot of money and not everybody's able to keep up on the same level of trading. So it's really impressive that you were able to see where you're at and make a decision. I'm going to be trading, but I'm also going to be on the path to secure this 9 to 5
exactly,
and this big venture that you want to do with rental properties and all that.
Exactly. And it kind of stems down from kind of how my parents grew up. My parents grew up, they're immigrants from the Middle East. So they didn't have a lot of security, right? Not everyone went to college, barely anybody went to college.
Yeah.
And I think out of my all my aunts on at least my dad's side, none of them went to college.
Yeah.
Just he did, right? And I think my uncle. But besides that, I mean, it comes down from the security. So, if it wasn't, and that's what my decision was to go to college and get a 9 to 5 is that, I could not have a 9 to 5 and I could try, doing something else on the side.
Right.
But the time I'm trialing, you got to have something, right? You got to have something holding it down, right? Or $100,000 in the bank, and then you don't have anything holding it down. That's fine, for 7-8 months.
Yeah.
But when you have no huge capital and you have no job, then what are you doing for 10 months?
Right.
Triangling out.
Right. And I think that really speaks to me as well because I'm a son of immigrants as well.
Exactly.
My parents being from Latin America, but Steve's really good to give us an input on this as himself also being a little bit more out of the box in terms of his upbringing and in terms of our demographic and the area that we live in. Just because his go into about how your grandfather was able to really push you into the business world and all that.
Yeah. So my grandfather was from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. He grew up sharing a bed with him and his 5 siblings, pretty much like that. And I remember him telling me some stories and everything about it. And it's kind of just to see my grandmom, my pop-up, they won their first car from the grocery store. They made the jump. They moved out to Downingtown, and they kind of just grew from there. And eventually my pop-up had 7 service stations, hardware store, carburetor shop, and kind of ventured off in all these different business ventures because, he wanted to provide for his family, but he also wanted that, feeling of success with it. So growing up, from a young age, it was always kind of he'd pick me up. We'd go do whatever work that we had to do at the area. He'd show me how to get some stuff done, work with my hands. He was a very hands-on business owner with everything. It was kind of, I remember going around to different places with him. We'd walk into Wawa, we'd run to 5 people that he knew.
Wow.
We sit there for
That's amazing. Yeah.
Sit there for an hour having a conversation, like that. And it made me feel that sense of pride in my last name and hey, this is he worked hard for this and everybody gives him respect for it because it's they know how honest and good of a person he was. So I kind of wanted to just continue on with that and grow forward with that,
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and I mean, in the area that we are from, fortunately we're from this area, there's a lot of economic activity, there's a lot of opportunity for everybody really, but, me and Steve, when we were having this conversation not too long ago, it's growing up in areas like these with, Steven even, a lot of people that grew up similar to you that had, a working class grandfather or grandmother, but then, became more middle class or more stable, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. It really goes to show how jaded some people can get in that belief that, if I just do A, B, C, I don't have to think about anything else because the path is right there. And, we're really transitioning into a time where, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case for a lot of people anymore. You're going to have to, go out of your way and really push yourself, get out of your comfort zone and find, these opportunities and a network for you to build some sort of business or some sort of network of people that you're able to, generate money with or from.
Yeah, I think the big thing is you look at like the demographics and the papers. People that were millionaires 5 years ago, people that are becoming millionaires today, like they got there in two completely different paths. And I think it really shows that there's no like true path to success.
No.
It's all towards like everybody has to take their own way, and if you work hard on your own way, like you have a solid plan in place. Like you know exactly what you're going to do next. You know what your next moves are. You're figuring out everything like that, and you're setting goals for yourself, which is super important. Same thing with Rogelio. He's kind of figured out what works for him and what doesn't, and you're kind of just through trial and error, just keep pushing forward. I've learned a lot like along my way with that too. It's just to keep pushing forward and try to figure that stuff out. But yeah,
and it's a good time to be young right now, and it's a good time that we have so many things at our disposal right now with even looking back 10 years ago maybe or 15 years ago, the amount of opportunity that people had even 10, 15 years ago isn't even close to what you have now. Nowadays you open up your phone, there's 3, 4, 5 media companies, advertising to you on Instagram, or there's somebody that's trying to sell you, some type of landscape, some type of service business on your feed, and you're just some guy, you're just some young guy,
right.
That just goes to show what kind of opportunity is really there. And it's really impressive that you have that plan and you're acting upon it, because a lot of people that we graduated with, their big plan was, I'm gonna go to college and I'm going to, do the best of college, and then I'm going to go to X, Y, and Z. But then, we still keep up with these people, but we're not, like, close friends. But it's really interesting to see that these people, you kind of take a look at their life, and they say these things, but then you take a peek in, and it's like they're partying every weekend. They're, they're sleeping in every single day. They're just complaining and not acting upon what they said that they were going to do. So it's really impressive that you have your plan and you have your outline, and you're actively working and making progress through that checklist.
And I truly believe, Rogelio, that the people you are around, it's again a cliche thing we always see, that the people you're around impact you, and 100%, they do. If you in your group are the best person, you're not in the right group.
No,
you're not in the right group at all.
Yeah.
And that's why, I try to strive to be around people that are better than me in certain aspects, right? And we can learn from each other, 100%. I don't know anything about real estate, right? Steven does.
Yeah.
So he can come and teach me about that, right?
Right.
I don't know anything about starting a business, so you can teach me about that, right?
Right.
But, sales of cars or sales of, hopefully pharmaceutical devices or whatever it be in the future that I, engulf myself in, I might be able to teach you or teach you about, right?
Exactly.
And you just keep rubbing all that off. And, it's another thing to follow up on that is, I think it's a lot of people get kind of bogged down by the end goal, but with no plan or no distinct plan. And I think we've all went through it. Even me,
definitely.
Steven, we have this end goal, and for maybe a year or two, we just didn't know how to start it. And I remember on the last podcast or one of them, you guys were talking about this podcast for I don't know how many months, and no start of it.
Yeah, Steven could really attest to that. He had mentioned it to me last year,
exactly.
And we just didn't act upon it. But now that we're acting upon it,
execution. It's literally you can be bad at everything in life. If you know how to talk and you know how to execute, you don't need anything else in life.
Exactly.
That was the biggest thing. We were all talking in a show, and it's the biggest thing of it is now it's easy. Now we have a set plan. Now it's like, all right, we have.
It's who to bring in. That's it.
We have a studio. We have everything set up. We have all the access to everything. So it was like okay, why don't we just do it? And so now we have it set and planned. Every Wednesday we do this. It's in the schedule. It's in the calendar now.
Noon.
It's not moving.
Yep.
So But yeah, that was the big thing. Like you just said, execution is the biggest thing.
Execution, and I think, again, going back to that end goal, we'll all have that end goal. But so, for example, like I also have, because I lift a lot, I also have like a cutting goal by the end of the year. Okay? It's to reach a certain amount of weight. I divided that weight on a month-by-month basis.
Yeah.
So it makes it smaller goals for me. Okay? I told myself, okay, I have to lose either 4 pounds a month, shred 4 pounds a month, or, whatever, 6 pounds for 6 months, right? And I can split it up into these small goals. And I think all of us need to focus on getting 1% better every day.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
100% is the goal. We know that. We can easily just say the goal 100% out loud, easy peasy.
Yeah.
We know it. We know what our 100% is. But how is that? Okay, how do I get to that point?
Right, and that was one thing that we touched upon on our last podcast was, it's getting up every day and, getting the little things out of the way. Because if you're not taking these little steps day by day, you're going to look at yourself at the end of the year. It's going to be Christmas week on 2023, and you're going to say, wow, here comes another Christmas. I'm in the exact same spot that I was. And back to even what you said is like hanging out with the people that are really going to push you to, like Steven, for example. When we first started hanging out, he was like telling me all this stuff, and I was like, we had never really been too close before this, but he was telling me all this stuff about, we could really get this done, and I was like, I don't really. He's just saying like these end goals.
Yeah.
But then he really showed up when it was time to start looking at real estate and start doing all these things. He was there. He was prompt. He was texting me like, hey, this, that, be here at this time, this. And then, now we're here. Now we're 6 months in, 8 months in. This is our coming up on our 3rd episode. Planning on doing, multiple episodes at a time now. And it really is just acting upon what you say you're going to do.
And also, that's a big thing, too. Like, we talked, like, last week, we talked about victim mindset. Okay, so like that's a big thing that we were talking about is like you were saying, waking up every morning, not blaming other people for your actions, taking accountability for yourself. And like when you put goals in place, like you just said, with that 1% better every day, and you hold yourself accountable for that and not play the victim mindset, well, 1% every day turns into 365% a year.
Exactly.
Right.
And people don't like...
Exactly.
People just see, 365% in a year, like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But when you break it down to 1% every day, well, how hard is it to be 1% better every day? It's not very hard.
No.
Okay. Oh well,
it's achievable.
Because holding yourself accountable for your actions is one of the biggest things you can do to improve your mental health. If I tell myself I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and I wake up at 7 o'clock, well then I'm probably going to be pretty mad at myself that I didn't wake up at 5.
100% is going to ruin your whole day.
Yeah, because I had a couple of things that I wanted to get done by then.
Yeah.
If I don't go to the gym in the morning and I go to like, and I realize that that's my only time of the day that I can go to the gym. Well, now it's like, oh, whatever, I brushed it off for the day. I was like, I'm not going to the gym anymore. But in reality, that affected me the bigger picture than I realized. Because,
Right.
like when I go to the gym in the morning and I get that lift in, or I do my cardio in the morning.
I do that all the time.
For the rest of the day, you're like, your mind is just so much more open.
Literally at 1 p.m., I'm like, oh, I'm glad I got that out of the way.
Right.
Like seriously, like I say it out loud, And I wanted to add on your thing, and saying and doing. I was listening to a neurologist speak about, he was speaking about children's brains. When we were all younger, and the way the average kid grows up, a parent saying they're going to give you something and then not giving it to you is like the biggest dopamine crash you will ever have throughout your whole life. I mean, it is such a difference in like your hormonal activity for a kid. I mean, if you say you're going to give it, like try it, like say you're going to give a kid a toy. Like whatever, like a little race car, and then say, not anymore. Like 2 minutes later, like they will go berserk,
right? Right.
And that's how it is for us. I mean, we're not going to go berserk if we don't go to the gym, but it's going to affect our day pretty badly.
Huge. And another thing, speak a little bit more about how speaking about how you're at university right now, and this really ties back to the point that we were speaking on earlier about that victim mindset. If you could go in a little bit more in depth about how, the people that you surround yourself with at university are really those people that are going to push you. Because in my experience, the people that I was hanging out with, 2 years earlier, and seeing how their life at university is, it's like, it almost kind of makes me depressed because it's like, they're 30, 50, 60 miles away from home. They're putting a burden on their own pockets, on their parents' pockets, and then, they're not acting upon anything that they're saying they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you could just go in a little bit more about how, you separate yourself from those kind of people, or how those
100%.
people affect you.
So I think there's a difference between, in my eyes, I have a lot of, I consider them acquaintances,
Okay.
Versus friends. Friends,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
because friends are somebody that, when I'm on the side of the road, like 50 miles away, like I'm under the full assumption that you are coming to pick me up,
Right.
and there's not a lot of people that'll, give you $100 when you need it or something like
Yeah.
that. When you test your friends that you call them friends,
Right.
you're going to realize not a lot of them are your actual friends. I'm going to tell you one thing, you're going to realize that they might be laughy, funny, jokey with you, but when it comes down to it, they're not going to be there in the time you need. And that's what you need friends for. And that's why I say I have a lot of acquaintances. When I'm walking around campus, I'll see a lot of people that know me. I'll say hi and I'll catch up. What's up with them? The one thing that I notice a lot of people like doing that I don't like surrounding myself around is talking about their story.
Okay.
If you're talking about your story and you're not doing anything, don't talk. No one cares. No one cares.
That's huge.
Okay?
Yeah, that's huge. Because,
No one cares about your story.
Right.
No one cares.
No one
Everyone has a
cares.
story. Everyone came from something. Everyone missed a meal at dinner. Everyone went through that.
Yeah.
Okay? We don't need to hear about your story. Okay? Your story does not matter. And I truly, there's people worse than my situation that are doing better than me, worse than your situation, doing better than you, worse than your situation, doing better than you.
Right, right.
Your story does not matter. What are you going to do about it now?
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
What are you going to do about it now? Just because you're born poor does not mean you have to die poor, right?
Huge. That's
Okay.
huge. Right.
You have a social security number, you have 18 years old, you apply for a Discover credit card, and you keep moving. Seriously.
And you get moving. Yeah. That's
Seriously, there's nothing holding you back.
huge. Nothing. And that just goes back to what we were even talking about earlier with that whole victim mindset
Yeah.
thing, and like the real shift in culture that's happening today. It's like, everybody wants everything to be so fair and equitable
Yeah.
for everybody.
Never gonna be.
But what's not given is an equality of effort. Like, that's a huge
Exactly.
thing that Joe Rogan says.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
like, I know it's cliche to, talk about these big podcaster guys and like
No, they're good.
what they got going
Yeah.
on, but it really is true. You can want all these things. You can, we need all these social programs for all these poor people. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. But like, are those poor people really gonna put in the effort?
Right.
If you hand them everything,
Right.
And that's like that's a big thing with like Stevie could really talk about this, like how he grew up around. I grew up more around like a different subset because I wasn't in you guys' area growing up.
Yeah.
But Steve can really talk about this and like how his like culture shock of like seeing how these people really like think and
Yeah.
how like it's so skewed from what's actually reality.
Yeah, I remember sitting in I want to say it was sophomore math class or it was freshman math class, and the girl next to me was like literally said like, oh, like something about like her maid coming that day, and I was really confused. I was like, wait, you guys have maids?
Yeah.
Like that's a thing?
Yeah.
Like people
That's
actually
what I was in the movies.
like
Like,
people
Right,
actually
right,
come
right.
and clean your house. Like I didn't know that was an actual thing, and like. The guy next to her was like, oh yeah, like ours comes on Wednesday, and I was
Oh,
like,
man.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Wow.
Right,
Like
right.
that's my chores growing up is like cleaning
Yeah,
the house
exactly.
and like running the vacuum
Exactly,
cleaner and like
yeah.
so like that was kind of like that was a really big shock to me where it was like okay, but then you look at it and it's like okay, well like their parents are like business owners,
Sure.
and like their parents do X, Y, and Z. It's like okay, well like we're looking at it from a different mindset perspective or like a different perspective, but like to me it was like all right, well that was kind of like almost motivation. Like that
Right.
was kind of like well
I want to get there.
I don't like cleaning my house.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right.
that'd be nice to have a maid come out and do it
Yeah.
for me. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, so
And I think to add on to what you said is when you're in that moment, you're thinking about like sometimes you're like, why don't we have a maid?
Right,
You
right.
know?
Yeah.
Why isn't it fair? Like, why can't I have it? Yeah.
I think something so important to understand too is that yes, there is lineage, there is wealth in lineage, there is wealth inheritance. That is a situation. I understand.
Right.
You know, wealth is given down from someone who passed away to someone. I understand
And
that.
if that's your scenario, you know, all power
Great.
to you. Make something of it, or
Exactly.
enjoy it. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's not I don't think that's a very big percentage of people that's getting wealth inherited.
No,
okay,
not
it's
at all.
maybe 0.5 of the 1%. Okay.
Yeah.
The thing to add is everybody else, that 99% of the people left, everyone has the same 24 hours.
Right.
No one told you to sleep 8 hours. The doctors told you to sleep 8 hours. You don't have to sleep 8 hours.
No.
You sleep 6 hours when COD came out, right?
Right.
Okay. So everyone has the same 24 hours. And I was speaking to one of my younger brothers yesterday about this, actually. And we were like, on a weekend, like, what do you do, man? I was sitting there asking him, you know? Because I try to, like, instill my mindset and my kind of self-starter ability and execution and stuff and following up into them.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you do? Okay, so he started listing out a lot of things. And I mean, I included literally, like, going to the bathroom, eating, taking a nap for 2 hours. I included that in there.
Yeah.
And he still had 4 hours.
And it's like
And he has no idea where it goes.
scrolling, mindless scrolling.
Scrolling, or did you sleep for 4 hours instead of 2? Like, what? So once you take a step back, and people have like Excel sheets for their finances, put an Excel sheet for your time.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
Track it by the hour. You don't got to be like
Or-
crazy about it for the minute.
Right.
but-
Or even just, you know, take notes as like you're completing
Track it.
activities through your day, right? Like,
Check
oh,
off,
at
boom.
11 went to lunch, you know, to the dot, you know, 11:43 came back, sat in my chair.
100%.
And what did you do after? You know,
Exactly.
and that really, you know, I don't have it on me, but in my journal, I keep track every single task that I know off the top of my head that has to be done, even if I can't physically get that thing done today. I know that if it's written down, it has to be done. So it's just
Exactly.
pushing me
I love that.
to, you know, if I can't get it done today, well, hurry up on all this other stuff so that tomorrow I can get a fresh start and get an early start on, you know, all these other things that I did not get done.
And that's a very,
Yeah.
very big, like, characteristic to have. It's the prioritization of tasks.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be able to, things pop up, right? Earthquakes happen. You know, mom
1000%.
calls you and needs something. You need, you know, things happen, things pop up, right? But if you're able to prioritize your tasks and move along, I mean, if you can do that, and people ask that in job interviews all the time.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the prioritization of tasks? Or how do you deal with a lot of tasks due on your calendar?
Right.
And you have to answer prioritization of importance, right? Who has the due date, right?
Since I've like started time blocking, my life's been
Oh my
like,
God.
it's become so much less
Yeah.
stressful than reality than what was
Yeah.
stressful.
Oh,
yeah.
Because like now it's like, okay, instead of being like, oh, I got to do this and this today,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, I got this at 9, I got this at
Exactly.
10. It's like whatever. It's just
Exactly.
bounce the thing on this. But I mean, I need to get better at doing it every morning.
Yeah.
But like I have been going in there like once a day, like saying I want to get this, and this done, and then I
Cool.
give myself like a little bit of segment of period, like
Yeah.
saying this is the time that I have to do this, and this time that I have to do this. Because I have really bad ADD. Like
Yeah.
I'll start one task and then I'll start another task, and then
Yeah.
it's like 7 tasks later. I'm like, oh, I should probably finish that first.
Yeah.
task.
Yeah.
But like with the time blocking thing, it's kind of like, all right, I can prioritize it a little
Yeah.
bit more, and it kind of helps me because it's like I know I have to do this at this time.
Are you someone that like if you like I'm the opposite of that. If I start a task, I have to finish it in that sitting, can't get up, no bathroom.
Oh, dang, we're
I'm-
complete opposite.
I was gonna ask you, do you like start a show and then like a new show comes out, you gotta start that one? Can you do that or no?
See, like that's where I sway. Like
Oh,
if like right now I'm watching South Park.
Okay.
Okay?
Ah,
and it's
good.
like the only show I'm watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, like I don't want to watch any
So
other
you
show.
didn't okay.
But like when it comes to like the stuff that like stresses me out, like I know I have to do,
Yeah.
like simple stuff like cleaning my room or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
that's
like,
procrastinating.
like,
I get it.
Like whatever like that.
Yeah.
It's like all right, well I'll put away my clothes like halfway.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shoot, I forgot to do the dishes.
Oh.
So then I'll go do the dishes,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I come back and it's like, well, what was I doing in here?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
same thing where it's like
Yeah.
I've gotten like I need to get really a lot better at this. Like I'll start setting up like the housing searches for my clients,
Yeah.
and I'll get like one like all the way set up. I'll send the email out, and then I'll start doing another one, and then I'll like, get distracted and I'll go do something else real quick, and I come back and I'll be like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
You
And you know what that time blocking is? It's again like we spoke about. It's the long goal split up into
Into
smaller
smaller
goals.
goals,
What is
right.
time blocking?
Right.
It's a 18-hour day. It's a whatever 12-hour day or 15-hour day split up into smaller goals.
Right. Right.
It's exactly that.
And, you know, being an entrepreneur, and, you know, a lot of people say that about entrepreneurs. It's like, oh, you label yourself an entrepreneur because you can't get anything done. You just like to label yourself that because, that gives you the freedom of, being this and that or whatever. But, it really is a good testament of like your character and your ability if you are able to, write these things down, say the end goal, put your blocks into like your achievement blocks in there, and then acting upon it. And that's really where the differentiation comes in between if you're going to be a landscaper like our next guest, Chase, if you're going to be a landscaper like that, or you're going to be a landscaper that is like running around chasing his clients trying to get the $50 for a lawn they mowed last week, right?
Yeah, it's efficiency of time too, right? You might have 15 hours a day, but minutes don't stop when you're thinking about what to do, right? Minutes aren't going to stop. We're like, should I chase that client or should I go back? And even in house sales, I mean, a unit is a unit always, right? That's how we got taught in pushing metal, right? We got taught a unit is a unit. When we sell a car, even though we're making a Mini, like it's fine, like we'll sell a unit,
right?
But sometimes it's again about that. For like if it's a Mini, like you better not be like rolling around like. And a mini's like the minimum amount of money you can make on a car. If you're making zero profit on a car, the dealership usually will still pay you a minimum amount. Okay. Usually like $150, $125 for one unit. And you don't have to start like jumping hoops and stuff for the customer. I mean, I believe in client satisfaction, but there's a minimum client satisfaction you need to meet. And for somebody you might be, making more profit on. Then you can jump into like many hoops for
right, and that goes into business.
It's your time.
Well.
It's your time.
Right.
Everyone can say like BS and like seriously, like somebody could hear that on the street and be like, gosh, man, you're
one of those guys.
You're one of those guys. Well, I have time too, like, and it matters, and everyone's time, and I think that's a new kind of trend that's happening is that people aren't afraid to say what's reality anymore. Right. Like especially with like Andrew Tate coming out,
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew Tate, a lot of people like. Literally, he was in jail for like, I don't know, 5 months for something that's not even proven.
But and like his track record on that, it's like every time he would come and say what's true, he would back it up. Oh, this
exactly.
It's because this, it's because that, it's because X, Y, Z. And then the people still sitting there, it's like, oh, well, this, and then feelings that, oh, but I feel this. But
exactly.
It's like, that's not reality. Reality is things that, that you can measure and you can see and you can, that are tangible, right?
Exactly. And I'm not saying, of course, that I'm a fan of him or anything, but I think he is not afraid. And same thing with, again, Donald Trump. Not saying I'm a fan of him or anything, but Donald Trump, people liked him. Why?
Because he said the truth.
Not even, some people say that's not the truth.
Right, some people say it's not the truth.
He's just said what is on his mind. He said what's on his tongue.
Well, I think
he didn't go to his third man, his fourth man down, his fifth colleague and said,
what do you think about this?
No, he just said it.
Right. I think
that's new. That's a new trend. That's the truth, right?
I think everybody's afraid to be themselves nowadays, and that's the biggest thing. It's like everybody's like, oh, am I going to get canceled for this, or what's going to happen, or like I need to figure out like if this like meets like this certain criteria or whatever it is, and it's like dude, in reality nobody really cares.
No.
And it's when you start like doing these like segmented groups and like they start causing problems where it's like then it's like I mean still nobody cares, but they're like then they cause this whole like wreak havoc of like spreading these lies and spreading these like whatever it is about people, and it could just cause us bigger problems.
And it's funny, the people that do that the most are the ones that try to be successful and then they do that instead.
Or they do, or
blame other people.
Yeah, or blame other people, or talk about other people.
Right.
Or, Kareem, this, that. But I don't know.
What do you do?
Like he's not.
It's the victim.
And then, behind my back, of course, you don't know, but they're talking with other people, But they say they're going to be this and that, right?
Right, but then what do they actually do?
What do they actually do?
It's the victim mindset, people, is the biggest thing.
Seriously, the victim with that story, it is a love for a lot of people to talk about.
Like, oh, this is the reason why I'm poor.
Okay.
This is the reason why I did this.
This is the reason I was poor too 2 years ago. Nice.
Right, exactly.
Cool. You want to shake hands now?
Right.
You want a high five?
It's like, yeah.
It's like,
cool.
Like nobody, honestly, I hate to say it, but nobody really cares.
No one cares. And like, seriously, no one cares.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a job. I got out of my job October. And I just got a job. Literally, my start date is 2 weeks from now, April 17th.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And the biggest difference between me and anybody that doesn't have a job, like I know I'm the first person to attest that the job market's kind of weird right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you'd be scrolling on LinkedIn, a lot of people are talking about, I mean, literally 100 interviews. I had probably 20 interviews, 150, 200 applications, no offer letters till a week and a half ago. So it's a very interesting job market.
Yeah,
just to
very.
tie it in with the economics of the world right now. And just yesterday, Saudi Arabia and China.
Right, I mean, we were talking about it this morning, yeah.
Shaking hands and stuff. America's in for a rut, and this time I'm serious, man.
Yeah, the dollar. I mean, we were talking about it this before we got in here. It's like the dollar this morning plummeted.
Did it? I didn't even see it.
But we're not doing anything about it.
I feel all the markets. I saw all the markets were red, but
yeah, we're not doing anything about it though. That's the sad part.
It's
why
it's a culture thing. We lost that.
It's the whole funneling into that victim mindset of why can't we make it fair for everybody?
Yeah,
it's because
focused on the wrong things.
Fair.
I think people forgot really what it truly is to be an American.
Exactly.
They prefer to sit there and play the whole hey guys, well it's not my fault, this is not my country, and
it's just
all
a culture
that
thing that wasn't a thing 50 years ago.
No, not at
America
all.
was number one 50 years ago.
Yeah,
we were,
and everybody that you talked to 50 years ago were like, I'm proud to be an American.
Exactly, and I worked for it, and I hustled for it, and I did that. Ask our parents, man. Yeah. They didn't just get it.
They didn't. Yeah, no. I mean, me and you with our parents being immigrants, it's like, why did they want to come here?
I want to go back to the days of praise Dale and raise hell. That's
exactly.
That's just the hard mindset to get into people's heads.
It's crazy, man. It really is crazy. It's really interesting to see what's I wish I could be a genie and see the future, but or not a genie, like a
crystal ball.
Yeah, crystal ball guy.
Right.
And see the future. I'm really interested to see what happens in the next year or two with the economy, especially. I mean, Fed and stuff.
I mean, I was watching. I was mindlessly scrolling
we always do it sometimes.
That happened,
I know.
But I saw this really powerful thing that was coming out from Dana White.
Okay.
Who was just merged with the WWE. Huge businessman, was able to grow the UFC from backyard fights
literally
to what it is now. Right. So what he was saying is that he was acknowledging that, the people that are in this country today and are growing up today are soft.
Yeah.
Everybody's it's like a recap of what we said today. They're in the victim mindset. They want everything to be fair. They don't want to take accountability for themselves. And they're folding under pressure,
Yeah.
And a big thing that what he said about that was, if in these next 5 to 10 years, where we're going to be going through some political and economic turmoil, if you're one of those people that's able to, stand in the fire and, push through and really show the world what you're made of, these are going to be the years where, you're going to be able to propel yourself into, multi-billion-dollar status,
100%. And you want to be able to talk about your scars. What were your scars throughout those, when you were trying to overcome these obstacles and stuff like that? I'll tell you, when I lost the job in October till just this month, I was a mule. And I mean a mule applying, like a donkey. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I wasn't sending 50 applications out a day, that's another thing is stay quiet, work.
Yeah, put your nose down and grind.
No one can say anything to me anymore because I have a job.
Right.
My 5 months ago till now proved itself.
Right.
Yeah. It's proved what I've been doing for 5 months. Mm-hmm. Maybe I wasn't employed, but it's proved that I was applying and I was, getting it done.
So
right?
I've always heard that sales, business in general, has 90 to 120 day turnaround. Mm-hmm. So there's your 120 day turnaround right there. You put the work in. This is when now you're seeing the
fruits of my labor.
Yeah, the fruits of your labor. That's exactly what you're seeing. I'm now having some clients that I'm closing now,
which is crazy. I see that.
3 months ago.
Congratulations, though. That's awesome.
So thank you. But it's like okay, well, this is it's the fruits of my labor.
Yes,
I put the work in.
See?
I found it.
It's true.
Same thing with Rogelio here.
100%.
His clothing restore business is booming up a little bit, but that's because he's been posted on Instagram some more.
Getting back to work and putting my nose down and grinding.
Yeah, dude, there you go.
Right,
yeah, I saw that. I didn't know you did that until last podcast. That you do reselling of probably what do you do? Just clothes or shoes or both?
So a big thing for me is, even though I like to, be one of these people that, is on my grind and really in tune with what's going on, I like that people are, being more communal with their neighbors. I like that people are being a little bit more conscientious about what their actions are and like how it's affecting the world. So me personally, I know that the sale and the industry of clothing is one of the worst things that has happened to the face of the planet because of the fact that these people that are doing it in a way that is purposefully harming tens, if not 15, or tens, if not like hundreds of other economies globally.
Right.
So for me, it's like if these products are already here, used clothing that's going to the landfill, it's like, I can capitalize off this. People are in the market for these products.
Right.
There's nobody going out and looking for these products.
Right.
And they're the people that are looking for these products. They don't want to harm these other developing countries. So it's like this is what being an entrepreneur is about. It's 100%. Like finding these deficits in the market or finding these areas in the market. And filling it and providing the customers what they want.
And people, it's another trend that, with lack of a better term, is that, for health, for example, everyone loves when something has like 3 ingredients now. And before, like, we used to like, in the old times, like Twinkies and stuff.
Right.
Now it's like, if it has more than 3 ingredients, like it's fake, like we shouldn't eat it. So just like that, but relating to environmental stuff, people are now like in the past at least 5-6 years are now coming to this idea of like
I have to be more aware
now.
I have to be aware of what I'm bringing to my body.
We gotta chill out. We gotta reuse, reflip, So it's a market.
Right.
It is, lack of a better term, it is a market. It's a business,
niche.
right? It's a niche. It's a direct,
lane.
Exactly. So it's interesting you went down that path. So you don't sell like Yeezys and stuff?
I'm still doing some of that, but pretty much anything that's
remarketed and
anything that's old and anything that's used, I'm flipping it
vintage.
For profit on eBay, on marketplaces.
And vintage is crazy too. People love that stuff, man.
Right. And then, just like you said, it's finding a niche.
It really is.
And filling the market with what
that's
the
like
market
the style,
wants.
and that's the cool thing about style. I don't know anything about it. You know better than me, but style is like something that's like a haircut. 40 years ago there was like a haircut. 30 years ago there was a different haircut. 20 years ago for guys there was a different hair. So it's just changing and changing and changing and changing.
And you got to be able to capitalize.
Too. Yeah. Whether it be overalls and not overalls, whether it be like shiny shoes, not shiny shoes, Yeezys, not Yeezys, Yeezy slides, not Yeezy slides. Right? And like vintage stuff is in right now.
Exactly.
It's been in for a couple of years now, but that's pretty good. And you probably started it around the time it started getting cool.
Right, exactly.
Or before it got cool, even maybe you just liked it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just people just have to be aware,
100%.
If you're not the seller, you're the buyer at the end of the day, right? And like Steven talks about this with real estate too. It's like, a lot of people now they look at these hot markets and they're like, oh, why didn't I buy a house 10 years ago? Oh, this, that. I'm like, oh, it's such a bad time to buy.
The second best time to buy it is now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like, okay, you missed out on it then.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to capitalize on the market that we have now?
It. And they're going to talk about it for the next 10 years, by the way.
Right,
and they're not going to buy anything.
And they're going to hit you with the story in 10 years.
Exactly. Yep.
The biggest thing right now is everybody's afraid of the economy. But this is the big one thing I could say. If you look at like year-over-year return on real estate compared to like anything else, it's always it's like beats anything tenfold.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you look at those numbers, you realize, okay, well, I might buy now, so like whatever. But 25, 30 years from now, that property value is not going to decrease. The population is not going to get smaller unless we have some sort of mass...
Like earthquake, asteroid destroys half of Russia.
Or like we actually do have a nuclear war or whatever is going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Hope not. But the population are going to get smaller. Yeah. So that's going to create more demand for housing. Okay?
Yeah.
So you have that single-family home on an acre of land that you want to buy now.
Yeah.
Well, 25 years from now, there's going to be one person when there's a billion more people on this earth that wants that exact same home.
Right.
Or literally build that whole like land into like a whole development.
Right.
Yeah.
How about just destroy the house and just build a whole development on that land?
Exactly.
Well,
a billion more people is a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like I'm a big land person. I don't sell a lot of land.
Cool,
I sell more houses than that. But like personally for me, like one of my long-term goals in life is I want to buy about 10 to 12 acres, like,
Okay.
and I want to build my own personal house on that, just because
cool,
it's like,
nice.
because like with me, like land is freedom. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
It is.
It's like okay, well, you know, I want to dig a little pond in my backyard.
You can
dude.
do it, man. No one tells you anything.
I'll go get that mini excavator. I mean, I probably should pull permits and, you know,
Yeah,
gotta make
whatever,
sure,
yeah.
gotta make sure we do everything legally. But you know, I'll go get a mini excavator and go dig that little pond in my
Yeah.
backyard. You know, like that's just like that's my mindset with it. But again, too, though, I have 10, 12 acres. Well, 25 years from now, it's going to be impossible to find 10 to 12 acres.
Yeah,
Right.
seriously.
I mean, especially in the area that we're in now. Right?
Yeah, because
That too. Yeah.
we're going to see probably the next 40 years or so. We're going to see government mandated farmland.
Government
Okay.
mandated farmland, cool.
So like my thought
Not
process,
cool.
Not cool.
not
Cool.
really. It's gonna,
I'm saying- I say cool, like, interesting.
It's gonna pull out like the little guys, but there's gonna be, because we're gonna see such a big population influx. I feel
Right.
like it's gonna be like more towards where like we need our farmland for our food.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be like, okay, like you can't. It's almost gonna be like protected land at that point.
Yeah.
And all the land that is there is gonna be protected.
Right.
So we're gonna see a lot. I think we're gonna see probably the next 30 years. We're gonna see a lot of
I saw there
restrictions
was
happening.
plans to make one on, like, I
A
think
farm?
like a farm or a manufacturing plant on.
Lionville Station Farm
Yeah,
Road.
there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like a big.
Isn't it right now? It's just
Yeah.
all grass.
Well,
right?
it's
Huge contention point. Yeah.
There's a protest that's possibly gonna be happening.
No
but-
trucking.
Today.
It was like a trucking
Today.
station thing, right?
It's today. Yeah. The protest is literally today.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, really?
But you know, downtown area school district sold off like I think it was
Yeah.
like 90 acres. or
94
something.
acres.
94
Wow.
acres, and they made like $84 million or something like that off of it because they bought it like 5 years ago for like 24 million and they sold it for like
90 million.
90 million or
Yeah.
something. But
Damn, land does
So-
make you money, huh?
yeah, they
Yeah.
made a ton of money
Around
off
here.
of it.
Oh boy, that's a lot of.
But yeah, no, like
Lot of
there's
cash.
rumors that Amazon's going to be coming in and
Like
pretty
a
much
warehouse.
in the heart of Chester Springs,
Which is, like,
building
weird.
a 1 million square foot warehouse. And there's, I mean, I'm a kind of a NIMBY when it comes to this stuff, just because
Yeah.
it's like I like driving on that road and I like seeing the farmland and I like
Oh,
seeing
you're
all that
like,
stuff.
"Eh, chilling,
I'm
vibing."
like, this is cool. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to see a giant warehouse right
No.
there. Why not drive 20 minutes down the
In the
road? where-
traffic.
Why not drive 20 minutes down the road where there's better highway access?
Yeah.
And there's I don't know, abandoned warehouses for the past 25 years. Why don't you go fix one of them?
Yeah. Huh. And is that for sure Amazon, or we think Amazon?
We
It's
think
coming?
Amazon. It
But a
be-
warehouse for sure.
Yeah, it can be
Yeah.
anything. But yeah,
Okay.
it's the proposal is for 1 million square foot. So that's
Building, which
Yeah.
is a
Two of them,
warehouse.
two of them.
2
Two.
million square foot buildings, which
Yeah.
has got to be a warehouse. Like,
That's
I-
very big.
Yeah.
Unless you got a house.
Especially for a 2-lane road
Yeah.
for trucks coming in and out.
Yeah.
And I mean that's
Oh, yeah,
it's a really interesting point where we're at, just because like the last 3 years that we've had with the pandemic and all that, and it's like, you know, people in the city really saw what it was like having like these crazy restrictions put on you and like not having any freedom to do anything at all, you know. So it's like even going back on his point, it's like these people in the next 25, 30 years, like maybe you're growing up in the city now, but maybe 25, 30 years, you're going to want to move out the city and you're going to want that land. But like we said, people complain and don't act upon it, and then they stay with that story 10, 15 years later, 20 years later, they're going to be saying, when I had that chance to move out the city, I really should have, or whatever it may be, right? And it's just that whole
I
thing
love
of
that victim
not,
story.
not acting upon these opportunities and these possibilities that you have is what's causing you to be in the mindset that you're in. And it's going to keep pushing you that way if you don't
Yeah.
act upon it, you know?
I don't know how to say, man. I know, and I'm around probably a lot more people than you guys are in
Oh,
terms of
100%, yeah.
college and stuff. And people like literally, like I'm walking around campus, man. If I go and like grab like lunch, I'll probably people will say. I'll say a funny story too, but I'll probably say hi to like 8 people, 9 people, and usually you got AirPods in and stuff. You don't say hi, whatever. There's some people I've had in prior instances. That's funny. It's funny. It sucks for me. That's bad on me. But my brain's always moving. It's like a million gazillion miles per second, thinking about everything in the world all at once. Like I'm sitting in my bed, like looking at the ceiling, thinking about my next moves. Like just like everyone is usually has those moments. But so when people introduce their names, sometimes like I don't catch them, man. Like it
Right,
sucks.
right.
I think also a lot of people get through that.
Yeah, especially in a big city.
Yeah,
you know,
big city,
right.
a lot of students. I mean, you're talking 40,000 undergraduate students.
And
That's a
that's just
lot
the
of
Temple
people.
campus.
That's just
There-
Temple campus,
there's-
right? How about the locals and
Exactly,
everything else, and people
exactly.
from St. Joe's, and how
Right,
about people
right.
from
Villanova.
Drexel, UPenn, coming, whatever. And there's people that would literally like say hi to me on campus, like I don't remember their name, and they're like, "Yo, Kareem," like. I'll be like,
Yo.
I hate when that happens.
Like when you're the other end of it?
No, when
Or
somebody comes up to me and knows my name and it's
yeah,
like,
I'm like, oh, man.
But like,
I say, yo. Like,
Listen,
but
right,
like you'll
right.
like you'll like recognize the face sometimes too, and it's like,
and then, yeah, you're
dude,
like, I know, I remember seeing you here.
face. Like I know who you are, I just don't remember your name. Yeah, that's
But
the worst.
yeah, I know a lot of people, and literally, like, I will say, like, I had no income for 6 months, but I was a mule applying to jobs. Okay, everyone will stop at the, man, I don't have money.
Oh yeah.
And just stop there.
I mean, but you
But
for
what
this
are you doing?
for those 6 months though, you were still doing stuff. That's
Yeah,
what
of
makes
course,
the difference.
stocks and stuff on the side,
Yeah.
of course, like things
And
that I'm
that-
managing,
and
stuff
that's
like
another
that.
thing.
And you were still learning yourself, like teaching yourself to get better. Like
Yes.
like look at where you were beginning of that 6 months when,
Yeah.
when you were
Yeah.
trading compared to the end. I'm sure your strategy completely changed.
100%.
You know?
And I learned something. Never leave it. Everything is a learning. It really is. Again, we learned that when we were younger, but everything is a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
Every failure, every mistake, and I learned even in that October time, like never leave a job without having a job lined up.
Oh yeah.
And if you think you're a little wonky in the job you have, you better be looking for a job like yesterday.
Right.
Because at any point in time they could cook you, and what are they gonna say? Please don't
Right. Exactly.
leave me, please. No, I have a family. Like, no, I'm corporate.
business.
I'll be the first person. Seriously, I'm a corporate guy, but no one cares.
Nah.
And if you think this is back in the old days of retail where people care, and this is maybe it's a mom and pop shop you're working
Right.
at, but I promise you, man,
We live in the world today.
if anyone's getting in corporate life, anyone behind that camera, no one cares. They
No.
will cook you whenever they feel like it,
Right.
And they won't care, and they'll give you a little
Pat on the back and just send you on your
bye-bye.
way.
Welcome to the real world.
Seriously,
Right.
You know.
and you're gonna be you're gonna be screwed if you don't understand that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big culture shock for a lot of people our age, especially. Is
Yeah,
they've
People
been
don't care.
they've been
they
like
don't
big,
get a return offer on their internship. Woohoo! Buddy, too bad.
They've
Sorry
been-
that
yeah.
McKinsey
Next
and
one.
Company didn't want to give you a return offer.
Right.
Sucks for you, man, or anyone.
On to the next.
Yeah,
They've-
on to the next.
they've
Keep
been
moving.
baby their whole life, and they're kind of sitting here like, okay,
Yeah.
This and this and this are going to go exactly in the place how I wanted to. And once they hit one little bump in the road, it's like, oh, the end of the world.
It gets so
plan's
yeah.
over.
yeah, I gotta what is happening? Yeah, no, you gotta be seriously thinking about the next step before then you need to do that next
Yeah.
step. When I get this job, if I find any instant any feeling that's weird, I'm applying. I'm gonna have my backup plan, man.
Right.
The companies have the backup plan.
Right.
When you pass away, the company's gonna find a replacement in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I promise you, in 2
we,
weeks.
We won't go far. I work
No.
I work at a corporate job too. It's not. It just became corporate because
Oh,
it
cool.
used to be a mom and pop that got brought
cool.
out, right? So it's my manager, right? He was the type of person that was it's a supply house for contractors and landscapers, right? So
Okay.
that's where I actually met our good buddy Chase.
Yeah.
So it's like these people think that because you have good or good relationships with XYZ person, you're gonna be able to jump over hoops and evade all the persecution when the firing and layoffs are coming down the line. It's no,
You can't.
Corporate life
Yeah.
is numbers,
It's
spreadsheets,
stats
and reports.
You're employee 2015, man.
Right.
You're
And-
not Rogelio and you're not Kareem
Right.
in front of them.
And
Seriously.
you got shareholders that are there
Yes.
that want their return on their money, and I'll just say it now. It's my ex manager. He was sitting in that chair. He was thinking everything was okay and
Dandy,
flowing fun,
yeah.
and if I could just go get lunch for these guys and put a smile on for these guys, then I will this and that. Dude, I came in one day, cooked, gone.
And sometimes, listen, that's not saying this isn't to scare anybody.
No,
right?
not at all. It's
but you
to
have
tell
to
you the
understand
reality.
it.
Right.
You have to just know it. If you don't believe that's going to happen, then you got to step away and do something else. Okay, you got to do Uber for a living or something
Right.
because you can't just do that. Okay. Not to be scared, every job that I go into, every job I went into a lot of jobs. I mean, literally, the best thing I can be most accomplished about and most the happiest thing I can be about is my development of work.
Yeah,
Every move I've made in work has been a move up.
right. Propelling
Move
you
up,
into
responsibility,
another,
more money,
right.
more money, responsibility. Since lifeguarding, then head lifeguard, right? And then whatever, retail sales, Best Buy, 16. 16, I was selling like TVs, home audio, like these big audio solutions, big TV solutions,
then from there,
thousands of
cars.
dollars, then cars. You know, 18 years old, man, everyone told me no.
Right.
I'm 18 years old trying to sell $60,000 Ford vehicles, $80,000 Mustangs, you know, GT, you know, 500 Shelbys, right? You know, Ford Raptors, we had everything. And it was in Exton, the dealership. And gosh, I applied to, again, literally 5 dealerships, and everybody said no besides that one dealership. And they brought me on, and I did, like, I was part-time. I'd literally, see, that's what I mean by no excuse, man. I would come from high school and go sell cars.
Yep.
Who was doing that?
I mean, even Steven, like, Steven's account on this is really good. Tell him about the people that we had interactions with this weekend at the showing that you took me to, and just how their mindset is when looking at, like, you know, young people that are, like,
it's
on
a
their
weird,
grind.
right?
So
or do they like it? I've noticed sometimes it's give or take.
I didn't wear a suit to this one.
Okay. I know you told me about that. You're like,
I was just like, you know, obviously,
were you in a hoodie or what?
It was my buddy Rogelio. So I was in a hoodie. I was in, you know, I had
he was doing the showing for you, or
yeah.
We were trying to buy a property out in Pottstown. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was just in a hoodie. You know, I wasn't dressed like my corporate self usual. You know, and everyone. You guys here for any reason? You know, like, what's going on?
And dirtiest looks.
I was just like, I'm a real estate agent. You know, I'm just showing the property. You know, we're waiting for his contractor to show up. Oh, okay. You know, like, everybody was just kept putting me off, like, trying to figure out who I was.
Yeah, see?
You know, and I was like, and then they're like, you're really young. Like, you're really young. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Okay. You know, but then I had, like, that one guy that we met, and he's super cool. His name was Ralph.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, man, like, keep it up. Like, that's awesome. You guys are so young, and you guys are doing this, like, investors and stuff like that. Like, I wish somebody told me that when I was younger. You know, he gave me his business card. You know, we texted back and forth a little bit. Now I got him sending me properties that, you know, he's not interested in. You know?
He's not interested.
Yeah, so, like, if he's not interested in him, he sends them on over my way.
Like,
you know, so that's another lead funnel.
Okay, so he gives you, like, clients? Or he gives you properties
like investment properties, like, so, like, fix and flips, like, so, like, say he looks at a property and he doesn't like it. How many properties does he have? You know, I don't know exactly what his numbers are, but he's a broker owner. He's been doing it for a long time.
I don't know all that stuff. You know, like
that. So
yeah, he's really well connected.
That's why I'm friends with Steven.
That's
one of the reasons.
that's the good reason to like build your network.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like, because I've done a couple showings where it's like, you know, like, example, one with keep bringing up Chase.
Yeah.
One with Chase that we went out with. I met 2 property management companies when we were out with him.
Yeah.
We literally had a whole squatter situation. We learned so much from this. Like, what the do's and what the don'ts are on this.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, well, now I know not to do this.
Yeah.
And now I know I can do this.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have known all this if we just didn't randomly start a conversation with these 2 dudes we met on the street.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's
that's good. See,
I mean, even
networking.
Even with another one that we went to with Chase when we followed up in Pottstown after a few showings that we did with me, we met a hard money lender. Like,
what does that mean, hard money lender?
It's like somebody that if you find a deal, and you can't make, you know, the if you don't have
down
the funds
payment or something.
Yeah, if you don't have the funds ready to, like, you know, get the deal going.
Okay.
These people will, you know, take a look at the property, take a look at the numbers, take a look at maybe, I don't know if they check your personal credit or not, but
yeah. So like for his example, they would run on like shells. So like. They would give you a loan up to like 85% of what the ARV of the property is. Okay. So, like, say the property is worth $100K, they'd give you $85K.
Oh.
That's including your purchase price in there. So,
cool.
You go in there, like, you get to fix the whole property for $85K. You refinance yourself out of it. You know, a couple different things. So
it's the people that facilitate the flip for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, usually
that give you the money for that.
You're right.
Usually the interest rates are a little higher.
They're probably very high.
Yeah, but that's why you have to run.
Connection to have.
You have to run your numbers right.
Yeah,
you know? Like, if you run the numbers right, then
if you can flip it and resell
it
for like 150%,
right?
You know, 200%, whatever.
I mean, that's the case that we had
for a 30% interest.
That's the case that we had in Pottstown on Sunday. It was a $60,000 house, ARV's 230.
60?
Yeah, 60,000.
And flip it 230
for
resell.
230. 230. But the thing about this property is fire damage. So everybody that was coming in was like, ugh. But, you know, if we could probably get in there a little bit cheaper than 60, maybe even for like 30.
You
know, get in there, do the work, you know, that whole thing about being well connected. You know, my dad's a contractor. He knows. You know, professional plumbers, professional roofers, professional whatever.
Yeah.
If we could get all those connects to just come in, give us a low bid, get the project done, you know, and get out of there, that's an easy $80,000 on top of what you put in.
But see, the hardest part that we're looking at there though is we don't have like the whole permit situation with it. You know, it's like
the permit
like,
situation.
Yeah,
like
the
city.
Like I know people that have done, you know, fix and flips in Westchester, you know, and in Glen Mills and Downingtown and Coatesville. Like I know how like all their permit situations are, but I've heard a couple people in Pottstown, you know, where it's like it's not as easy to get this permit, or it's not as easy to get this permit. You might be waiting 2 or 3 months for this, or 6 months for this.
And so when you're flipping, you need interest is
right.
accumulating.
Your
time is important.
Your money needs to be in movement, so you got to figure out exactly when you're at a standstill for 3 months. You're like, oh, I can't do this with X, Y, and Z.
That is a good point.
It's a little difficult. So
gosh,
that was our biggest intake on that property. Was like, yeah, the numbers make sense, but the permits don't. So we're like, all right, well, we're either going to be sitting on this property for a year and a half trying to figure out what's going on with it, or we're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do?
Yeah.
But again, too, a year and a half from now, the market can tank, and that house can only be worth $185.
Yeah.
So what do we do in that situation?
Yeah.
You know.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So.
But it's just about being connected and being,
it is.
you know,
that's another thing,
getting out there. A big thing for me was, you know, I took 2 gap years out of high school, and it was like, those 2 gap years, I made like, they're around $30,000 a year just, you know, flipping stuff online. But it's like, I wasn't getting out. I wasn't getting connected. I wasn't, you know, talking to people. And it's like, that didn't help me at all.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
and now that I am, it's like, look at where we are now. We got the podcast going, flipping houses, investor, all
that's
this.
Fire.
You know?
That's fire.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, it's like kind of like how I was, where it was like, I was making really good money in high school and out of high school. Like I was making really good money for my age, but then I kind of saw that, and I was like, it was like, dude, I'm either going to cap in 5 years and like I'm going to make the same amount of money every single day for the rest of my life, or I can go just kind of like risk these next 5 years, and then I can always just come back to this and make the same amount. So it's like it didn't really stress me, because it's like all right, like I learned the skill, I learned the trades. Like I know how to do pretty much anything in auto body. I can do heavy hits. I'm certified. Like I can paint cars. I can do rust repair, full restos. Like I love doing it, but I was kind of like at a cap of what I can make. So it was like all right. So where's my next decision? So I was like, all right. Well, I can make unlimited income here, so I might as well risk it for the next 5 years. Yeah. I'm young. I'm dumb. So
that's what we all got to get in our head.
Everyone gambles in the casino. Why can't you gamble on yourself? Right?
Exactly. You know, and the return on the casino, you know, is going to be X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
If
the return on yourself.
If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to making $100K a year in the trades. If it does work out, I'll make more money than that.
Yeah,
right.
You know?
100%. Exactly. And side income's really big. You know, I got to keep thinking about that stuff. You know, I want to be able to. A lot of people I know a lot of like girls do like lashes and like nails and like you know like eyebrow threading and stuff like that, and that's like, if you can like capitalize that, well, that can be like I have to think about something that's like a side business, that like eyebrow threading. Dude, seriously, like, what's her cost? What's the thread cost, man?
10 cents
less.
I don't know.
Like pennies, 2
you
pennies,
probably buy
3
a
pennies.
bulk thing for literally 10 cents a pop, or like 50 cents a pop, or $1 a thing.
Right.
Like, you know, because it's literally a thin line of thread.
Right.
And she just has a website.
$22
domain.
$22 per session at the King of Prussia Mall. At the King of Prussia Mall.
Yeah. So, you know, and she does, like, I know somebody that does them for like $12. And she has like the whole thing's on the website. Like you can like schedule it and everything. Like makes life
and
easy
also,
for her.
how long does it even take?
How long does it take? 10 minutes? 20 minutes,
right.
man?
So you're making,
seriously, 20 minutes?
So if you're doing 6 of them in an hour for 12 bucks
or whatever,
a pop,
yeah,
right.
or 5 of them in an hour, man.
Right.
That's like when I used to do a lot of automotive side work.
I'll take $60 an hour, my
right.
friend.
Exactly.
I used to do a lot of automotive side work, and I was minimum. I always try to make $100 an hour was my goal on it.
That's
but there was times where I made $1,000 an hour, and then there was times where I made like negative $60 an hour because I didn't
mistakes, huh?
Because I didn't price the job right.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's what I've been doing this like the past 3 jobs I sold have come out to like
that's your side thing, your automotive stuff. Okay.
Yeah, the last 3 jobs I sold have come out to like $25 an hour, just because like I keep like underbidding them. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll hook you up. Like I'll do it for this price, and it's like I forgot like what I'm worth in a sense.
Yeah.
For a lot of this stuff, so it's
and
like
you got to remember the place you're at, you know,
myself,
too.
yeah.
It's like you're just starting out, you know, and everything matters, you know. I got a job for you to do on my BMW after this. We'll talk about it. See if he'll give me a deal. He probably won't give me a deal now. He just talked about it.
Actually, speaking about your automotive, and you wanted to get into a garage, and I found a garage for rent too, not too far from
That's
here.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's all good stuff. I think mechanics is and like auto body and automotive stuff. Like everyone needs it.
Everyone needs a car.
Yeah, that's why it's like it's something that's going to be around here forever. It's like, to me, is like the easiest industry to sell on, because it's like once you build up that rapport of like doing good quality work,
Everyone wants it.
Everybody wants it. So it's just like you just name your price and it's like it's done, and it's just something that's easy.
And I just saw something really cool on TikTok the other day. I think last week. Really good idea, man. Stupid as hell. Every idea we see is like we just like we like clench our fist, man, and we're like, wow.
Why did I?
I'm so dumb.
Right.
I'm so dumb, man. It was a barbershop with a mechanic shop. Or no, it was a barbershop with a car wash or something like that.
Or
come in.
barbershop
That
oil
makes,
change.
yeah, that's
Such
so
a
much
good
sense.
idea. Why? Time, man. Everyone values their time.
Yep.
So I just gave a free idea out there, mechanic shop, like what
Mixed
I don't know,
with,
how
like, a
does an
little-
oil change take? Like 30 minutes?
Not
I don't
even.
know, depends.
Yeah, not
30
even.
minutes?
No,
That'll be good for a
When I
cut.
was when
Yeah,
I was
just
when I
give an
was
idea,
when
everyone
I was
business.
little, I always had this idea of a. It was like literally like the same sense of what you literally just talked about there. It
the
was
car wash with
it was a whole lineup. It was literally just a automotive shop, a hairdresser shop, and then there was a hoagie like a deli next door.
There you go.
It's the same thing with a gym with a restaurant inside with high protein meals, high protein,
Yeah,
high
exactly.
good macros meals.
Exactly.
Fusion
And they
gyms over
correlate.
there.
They
have
correlate.
everything there.
Dude, it's great. They have,
Everything there. Why? Time. It's efficiency. They
Yeah.
have a room to edit your videos. They have good lighting, so you don't have to like move lights around and stuff.
Right.
They have a rink, and they have the football field to do your cardio on, and they have everything there. I think they have a barbershop there.
yeah,
Pretty sure, actually.
I think so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they have a barbershop there, man.
yeah.
There you
Lift,
go.
get a cut, leave.
The one in Philly.
Restaurant, man.
That new one in
Exactly.
Philly you're talking about?
The new one,
yeah.
I think it's like northeast Philly,
Yeah.
right before
They
like.
paid like
fuck,
like
it's
$4 million
county.
or something like that to start the
Crazy,
thing. Yeah,
man.
it was, that one's pretty sweet. You know,
What's
But it's in people want it.
efficiency? Time,
People want
man.
it.
Time, efficiency, man.
That's all it is.
And if there's a demand,
people don't mind paying $200 a month.
No, you
for-
don't have to. You don't have to think like people think business is like, oh, you got to think of this wild thing, like you got to find the solution to cancer.
Right.
No, like you just gotta, as simple as making life efficient for people.
Right.
Is a solution, right? If I'm able to, what like the literally the car wash with the car wash is what? Detail the car, whatever, interior, exterior for a minimum is probably going to take 30 minutes. Haircut takes 30 minutes.
There you go.
Why don't I look fresh in the car and the haircut? You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean, yeah. So this just, I mean, to wrap things up, it's like, it's amazing that, people like us can, think about these things, but it's like this is why we're on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's, to get the message out there to, even younger people than us, or maybe even people older than us,
Yeah.
get in the mindset of, looking at, the reality of the world, because not everything's going to be fair. And, figuring out how, you can leverage your time, leverage your skills, and leverage your assets around you,
Exactly.
to get farther ahead in life. Everybody thinks it's, we want things to be fair. You know what? Get out of that mindset. Not
Yeah.
everything's going to be fair.
Yep.
You gotta learn how to get up every day and show up and get things done.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Well,
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming out,
Yep.
Kareem. Hopefully we can have you on again in the future. And
That would be great. I
yeah,
enjoyed it. Thank you guys.
We'll probably link you on down below your
Yeah,
socials,
cool. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram.
everything.
Instagram. I don't really. I use TikTok for like social. I just sit there watching stuff, but
But yeah,
Instagram I use pretty well. So I
All right.
remember.
For
Yeah,
for sure.
Thank you
Sweet.
guys.
That wraps it up. Episode
it.
3. Awesome.